In today's episode, Heidi asks, TED.com published a list of the top 10 careers to stay employed through 2030, including socially distanced office designer and virtual events planner. What do you make of their predictions? Well, in looking at these, and I'll put a version up here, a lot of these are very short-term thinking, very short-term, and they're very pandemic-centric. The pandemic isn't going away anytime soon, but it is going to be with us for only a couple of years, probably 2 years or so. That's the time it will take to develop a vaccine and get it broadly distributed around the world. And yes, some countries definitely will lag behind others, will be more vulnerable than others. Places like Europe will do well. Asia, China, Japan, Korea will do well. Places like the United States will not do well. Are already seeing massive anti-vaccine movements and such, and so it will take longer for the United States to recover. But it still won't be the full decade. So what should we be thinking about in terms of these careers? Things like chief purpose planner or clean hygiene consultant or virtual events planner or subscription management specialist. They're too tactical and they're not thinking about the technologies that are available to us now and what's in development and where that's going to go. So, for example, we know the things that are not going to change, right? People will still need places to live. People will still need food to eat. People will still need, things to do. Kids will still need educating. These are things that are not going to change a whole lot. What will change is the tactics that we use to deliver those services. And a lot of it is going to be around artificial intelligence, not because it's trendy, but because, frankly, it's a cost saver. We know that in business, in B2B business, and all business, really, companies want things to be the same as consumers: better, faster, and cheaper. And machines and automation and AI are the pathway to delivering things that are better, faster, and cheaper, because you can have machines do stuff better and faster and at a substantially lower cost than humans. In that sense, there will be a lot of evolution of AI models and how they're deployed to having people be able to customize them, to tune them, to run them, to be able to offer a lot more customization, to be able to offer a lot more specialization. And so it would not be, for example, I think out of the realm of possibility to have friendly user interfaces on top of AI models that allow you to accomplish tasks that you're trying to get machines to do. So, for example, in brokering a real estate transaction, do we need a real estate agent in the mix? For some parts, maybe. For some parts, no. Some parts, some of the paperwork and some of the very repetitive processes, permits and titles and all that stuff, machines can absolutely do that. A big part of that will be cleaning up and getting local government technology, sometime into this century. A lot of local governments tend to lag very far behind the commercial sector, so there's actually a decent cottage industry to be had for government automation. And then when we look at other things that people are going to be doing, driving cars, probably not a whole lot in the next 10 years. If you look at the way that autonomous vehicles function now, today in 2020, they are almost ready for prime time now. They still need some more testing. They still need some to deal with like adversarial attacks on their models. But for the most part, they're functional now. Within 10 years, assuming that, again, government and regulation permit it, you will have many more of those. You will have a thriving career in law dealing with the ways that machines are changing technology. So, for example, when we look at systems like AVA and GPT-3, they can reinterpret and create new works out of existing works, derivative works, that are not necessarily traceable back to the original. So how does that impact law? How does that impact copyright? How does that impact creators' rights? When a machine and a model creates something new, who owns that? Do you as the model owner? Do you as the service provider? Does the end user own it? These are all questions that law will need to address in order to deal with the implications. There will be large questions about who owns user data. there already are, but in the next 10 years, we should expect to see at least some answers. And as we see with things like GDPR and privacy legislation, it will be a patchwork quilt around the world of who gets to own what. But there will be many careers grown on that. I think an AI concierge of sorts, someone who who can function in that low-code environment to help businesses and even maybe even wealthy individuals customize their models and their technology, will be a cottage industry. If you are the sort of company or environment that uses things like virtual assistants, true virtual assistants, like the little things on your desk here, that you just yell at for groceries, those have very limited customization right now, and there is no transparency as to how the customizations work. Having people be able to customize it to your particular use cases, even if it's just something as simple as, for example, with transcription software, uploading a list of known words that you say that are kind of unique to your use case. That's a level of customization that a lot of smart assistants do not offer currently. And that's something that obviously a lot of people would find a lot of value in. Being able to get technology to people is still a thing. Elon Musk's Interlink satellite network is trying to address the fact that in large swaths of remote areas and rural areas around the world, there simply is no internet. And having low Earth orbit satellites to allow access while you're in those areas may not be fast enough for a Zoom call or play video games, but it would be enough to get you connectivity and continue networking the rest of the planet. Over the next 10 years, that's going to be a priority. And so there will be careers around that. And there will be careers around all those new consumers and businesses that suddenly have connectivity. There will be places in Asia and Africa, in the United States, North America, South America, every continent on the planet that will suddenly have access to the internet and will want to participate. And I think there will be a substantial number of careers around the implications of different AI models and how we deal with them. Everything from detecting bias in data sets and dealing with AI ethics and how machines make decisions and what the right decisions are. There will be plenty of consulting to be had around risk mitigation for companies. If you publish a model, what are the risks of it? Have you mitigated against them? Have you been audited to demonstrate that you have protected against those risks? If we pursue the avenue that I would like to see companies take, which is that machines, not humans, but machines, are guilty until proven innocent of things like bias or discrimination, then again, there'll be a very large cottage industry of people who can help make models more interpretable, and then to validate that the model is actually doing what we said it would do, that it is not discriminating against protected classes of any kind. So those are just a few samples of things you should think about. Virtual events planner, sure, for the next couple of years, that will be a thing. But human nature is such that people like to get together. And so I think that career will be a cottage industry. It's not going to be a zero, but it will not be something that will sustain you all the way through the next decade in the same way that something like risk management around AI certainly could. So really good question, lots to think about. If you have follow-up questions, leave them in the chat box below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.